Welcome back to Grow the Earth. I'm Tommy, and today we're out here in the garden. And what we're going to talk about today is shade cloth. Now, I did a previous video that I'm going to have linked over here in the corner, which is why we put the shade cloth on here. Because we wanted to get a second harvest of our squash and our zucchini, but it was so dang hot that we knew that it was going to be almost impossible to germinate these seeds. Especially being down here along the Gulf Coast of Texas. That's been just terribly hot, just sweltering heat lately. And what it does is it dries out the soil so fast that these seeds would have never germinated. So we put this shade cloth on here to cut down the sun and the heat and allow the soil to stay a little bit moister. And as you can see, we had great germination. But the problem is now that these seeds, that these plants are growing and they're starting to try and produce fruit and flowers and so forth, they need more of that sun. And it's time to remove this shade cloth. It's time to take this stuff off and allow these plants to get full sun. And the way we set this up with these wood planks and the shade cloth just draped over the top of it, it makes it even easier to take off than it was to put on. Because these are actually screwed into the side of our beds if you go back and watch the other video, and they can actually just kind of stay here. And we can kind of dedicate this bed to something that we're going to have to put shade cloth over. And if they get too much in our way, a couple of screws, we zip them out, and we don't have these in our way anymore. Now the good news is when we put the shade cloth up, we made it easy to come back apart, because the shade cloth has got these little tabs on here that we were able to put string on. So we just simply have to come down here and take the string off of the screws, and we're able to take our shade cloth off. So it's not a big ordeal to come in here and remove this. It comes off easier than it went on. So we're going to finish taking this out of the way and let our squash grow to their fullest potential. Now that they'll be able to get full sun and they're not going to be shaded out and have to kind of work to get some sunlight to be more fruitful. So guys, as always in the garden, we can equate almost anything we do in the garden to God's Word. And I equate this shade cloth to us being a baby Christian, right? God gives us protection. He protects us from the blazing sun and the stresses of things to come. And but as He sees us grow and as He sees us start to produce fruit, He pulls back that shade cloth so that we can really start to flourish. That's when He pours in all of God's Word, all of the sun, and gives us that extra bit of sunlight that we need to grow and to be fruitful and produce. Because just like with this shade cloth on here, yes, it did help these plants to get started, but now that they're larger and now that they're about to produce fruit, we've got to give them more of the sun. And the same thing, as we're a baby Christian, as we grow, God will remove His shade cloth so that we can get more of the sun and so that we can grow and be productive. So guys, as always, I ask you to pray over your garden, pray over your family, and have a great day.